My sister leaned across the table, voice soft but sharp enough to cut. "You're not ready to sit with the family yet." Everyone else just nodded, their forks glinting in the light like nothing cruel had been said. The chair beside me stayed empty. I walked home with that silence still clinging to me, the kind that makes your footsteps echo too loudly. My apartment smelled of stale coffee and papers, contracts stacked in neat piles on the counter, glowing laptop screens humming like quiet allies. I turned on the TV for noise, and there it was, breaking news, ticker tape in bold red letters. Industry shattered. Historic deal signed. Records broken overnight. The anchor smiled, saying my company's name, my name. My pen had signed the contract that shifted the market. While my sister was busy deciding who was worthy of a chair, the world had just pulled one out for me. I laughed, but it wasn't joy. It was the bitter kind that fogs the glass when you breathe too hard. My reflection in the screen looked almost like a stranger, tired but unshakable. Have you ever had family cross your boundaries? Let me know in the comments. I turned off the TV and set my phone face down. The city outside pulsed with horns and headlights, and for the first time, I felt taller than every skyscraper in its skyline. When dawn pressed against my windows, I opened the door to fetch my mail. My heart stilled. The entire family was standing in my lobby. The lobby smelled faintly of marble polish and yesterday's rain drifting in from the glass doors. My family stood there in a strange formation, like actors who'd rehearsed their entrances but forgotten their lines. Dad spoke first, his voice brittle. "We saw the news." Mom's eyes darted around, not at me, but at the gold trim on the ceiling, the concierge desk, the subtle proof that I'd built something bigger than the narrow rooms they once confined me to. My sister, the one who had told me I wasn't ready, folded her arms. She looked at me the way people stare at locked safes, hungry, frustrated, already imagining what's inside. "You should have told us," she said flatly. I felt the cool edge of my apartment key pressing against my palm. The same key I once begged them to lend me when I was younger, just for a taste of independence. Now I held it like a symbol, the motif I carried everywhere. "I did tell you," I whispered. "You just didn't listen." No one moved, not even the doorman, who usually nodded at me with a half-smile. He kept his head lowered, as if sensing the tension vibrating through the tiled floor. Mom finally broke the silence. "We're family. We should be together in moments like this." I wanted to scream, but silence felt louder. I turned the key slowly in my hand and said, "Funny. Last night I was family too, and my chair was empty." The chandelier above flickered once, like even the light agreed. The elevator behind me chimed, a soft bell that sounded almost like mockery. Nobody stepped out. My family still blocked the entrance like they owned the air I was breathing. Dad took a step closer. His shoes tapped against the marble, precise and deliberate. "Let's talk upstairs," he said, as if it were an order, not a request. I tilted my head, studying them the way I used to study contracts, line by line, searching for hidden traps. My sister's eyes flickered to the key in my hand again, and I realized she wasn't here for me. She was here for what the headlines said I had. The concierge cleared his throat gently. "Ms. Taylor, shall I call security?" His voice was careful, but the offer was real. My chest swelled with something sharp. Finally, someone recognized this was my ground. I shook my head. "Not yet." Mom tried a different angle, her voice dripping with sudden sweetness. "You still wear that perfume? The one I bought you years ago." A decoy line, meant to soften, meant to reel me in. I almost laughed. "You remember the bottle, but not the nights I cried wearing it." The lobby grew heavier. I slipped the key into my pocket, not to hide it, but to remind myself that doors only open if I choose. "Upstairs." I repeated, my tone steady. "No. If you want to talk, you'll do it right here in the lobby where everyone can watch." The chandelier trembled again, throwing shadows across their faces. For a moment, no one spoke. The silence felt carved from stone, pressing against my ribs. My sister's lips curled, the same smile she used when we were children, when she stole my seat, my clothes, even my friends. "You think this lobby makes you powerful?" she asked, her tone slicing. "It's rented, temporary. Family is forever." The words landed heavy, but my eyes drifted to the glass doors. Beyond them, the morning sun caught the city skyline, steel and glass towers rising like proof of what I'd built. Nothing about it felt temporary. I folded my arms, mirroring her stance. Family is forever? Last week, family told me I wasn't ready. So tell me, forever for who? Dad exhaled long and weary. He looked older in that light. Shoulders bent like the years of silence he'd chosen had finally weighed him down. "We made mistakes, but we can fix this together. You need guidance." Guidance. The word stabbed deeper than any insult. Guidance was what they withheld when I begged for advice on my first startup. Guidance was what they gave my sister in abundance. Connections, money, rooms filled with praise. I glanced at the concierge. His eyes were on me, waiting for a signal. Behind my family, other tenants trickled in. Neighbors with coffee cups, gym bags, curious eyes. An unplanned audience. I stepped forward, the key in my pocket warm against my thigh. "If you want guidance," I said quietly, "look at the stock ticker. It's guiding the entire industry." My sister's smile faltered. The shuffle of footsteps echoed as two neighbors slowed, pretending to check their phones while really eavesdropping. My sister's gaze darted toward them, then back at me, sharp with embarrassment. She hated being seen vulnerable. "Don't make a spectacle," she hissed. I almost smiled. This time, I thought, the spectacle isn't mine to carry. Mom's hands twisted around each other, her wedding band glinting nervously. "We just want a chance to sit down, to understand what you've done. It's complicated, sweetheart." Complicated. The word rang false. My deal was public, straightforward, undeniable. What was complicated was their sudden need to claim me, to weave themselves into my success as if they'd ever believed in it. I shifted my weight, feeling the solid ground beneath my heels. "Understand what I've done. You mean benefit from it?" Dad stiffened, jaw tightening. "You'll need allies now. These industries are brutal. Who else will protect you?" It was almost laughable, this sudden claim of protection, when just yesterday they'd cast me out like I was fragile, unworthy. The key pressed harder in my pocket. A motif, a reminder. Doors open both ways. "I already have allies," I said. "Lawyers, partners, people who never once asked me to prove I was ready." A ripple of whispers spread among the tenants watching. My sister's face darkened, the mask slipping. For once, she didn't look untouchable. And I realized in this very lobby I wasn't the one on trial anymore. The air grew thick, humming with tension. My sister stepped closer, her heels snapping against the marble. She lowered her voice, but it carried anyway. "You can parade your headlines, but without us, without family, you'll collapse. We know you." Her words tried to drag me back into the past. The nights I begged for a ride home and was left waiting. The mornings my seat at breakfast was already taken. They had known me. Yes, but only the version they'd forced into silence. I straightened, feeling the weight of eyes on us. "You don't know me anymore," I said steady. "You only know the empty chair you left behind." Dad's voice broke in, raw and unsteady. "Enough. We need her trust back, or we're finished." He didn't realize how much he revealed in that slip. We were finished, not me. The lobby clock ticked loudly, each second slicing through their pretense. That's when Mom tried again with another decoy, her tone suddenly tender. "Are you eating well? You look thinner than last Christmas." I shook my head, almost laughing. "Still trying to soften the edges, Mom? It won't work. Not this time." I pulled the key from my pocket, holding it between two fingers. This opens my door. Not yours. Not anymore. The chandelier's crystals scattered light across their stunned faces, like fragments of truth finally breaking loose. And for the first time I felt the shift, control, sliding fully into my hands. My sister's eyes narrowed, catching the gleam of the key between my fingers. "You think that little piece of metal makes you untouchable," she sneered. I let the silence sit before answering. "No, but it reminds me who opens the doors now." Behind them, the lobby doors hissed open, and a courier stepped in, clutching a thick envelope stamped with the logo of my firm. He glanced around, spotted me, and hurried over. "Ms. Taylor? Documents for your signature." Every head turned. My sister's jaw clenched as the courier handed me the envelope. Ink fresh, the deal still hot. I signed, the pen scratching louder than their breathing. When I passed it back, the courier bowed slightly before leaving. A murmur swept the tenants watching. Proof, tangible, undeniable, that the world recognized me, even if my own family hadn't. Dad swallowed hard. We can still work together. There's room for us at your table." I met his gaze, my chest aching with the memory of all the tables they'd refused me. The rejection, the humiliation, the quiet dinners where my name was only spoken when bills needed paying. "Funny," I said softly. "Now you're the ones without a seat." The words lingered like smoke. My sister's face cracked, a fissure in her armor of control. And just then, I knew. They weren't waiting in my lobby to welcome me back. They were waiting because, for the first time, they feared being left outside. The lobby had gone so quiet I could hear the elevator cables humming in the shaft. My family stood before me, fragile in ways I'd never seen. Their certainty had drained away, leaving them smaller, almost human. Mom's voice trembled. "We didn't know you'd make it this far. We should have believed in you." The apology brushed against me like a draft through a cracked window. Too little, too late, but real in its weakness. I let the key rest in my palm, its cool metal grounding me. For years it had symbolized what I lacked: entry, permission, belonging. Now it meant choice. My choice. "I won't erase the years you left me outside the room," I said. My words were calm, steady. "But I won't let bitterness chain me either. You wanted me silent. Now you'll listen." Their faces flickered with shame. My sister looked away first, lips pressed tight. "I've built something without your guidance, without your seat at the table," I continued. "And I don't need validation anymore. If you want a place in my life, it will be on my terms. Transparency, respect, accountability, nothing less." The tenants, watching, seemed to hold their breath. Dad gave a small nod, pride and regret tangled in his eyes. I slipped the key back into my pocket, not to lock them out forever, but to remind myself the door only opens when I decide. The chandelier steadied its glow above us,